one of the best ways of dealing with stress is to focus on your breathing. And most people, when they're stressed, they stop breathing, hold their breath. And when they hold their breath, the body starts, in inverted commas, to panic because the breath actually keeps the body, we call it the in-breath and the out-breath. In Asia, there's a specific breathing practice called pranayama. If you do yoga, you learn how to breathe as well, so it keeps the whole body awake.
Now is meditation?
Meditation is something that needs to be done regularly. I say that to all my clients and all my students. Make time. It doesn't have to be long. Maybe just 5 or 10 minutes to do your pranayama, your breath practice. And meditation can be really simple. It doesn't have to be long and drawn. I mean, obviously, the more you practice, the easier you can hold your focus. Slow the mind down. When the mind slows down, the body slows down. So what we're finding now, increasingly in the West, is that people are starting to meditate. They're starting to practice what is now called mindfulness, which people are bringing to Western business community with specific practices. It's a way of doing business and working together that is a more harmonious way. And if people can understand energy, can understand how energy works, we find that it makes life much more peaceful and much more bountiful, much more fruitful, except people are mostly stuck. I mean, we teach people how to be rather than what to do. As we say, if you don't know who you are, most people, by the time I guess they're still in school, they've lost their sense of self and their real identity. And they're living on other sort of perspectives or other people's decision on what their identity is or social standard. So you've lost that, and so you sort of bound through life at this enormous pace. And people forget themselves. They put themselves last. They don't know what they want. They do jobs that fulfill other people's desires rather than their own. And like women get to a certain age and they want to have children, they feel kind of caught between the identity of a mother and the identity of businesswoman. And meditation is the practice that winds you back from looking from the outside in to looking from the inside out. So, many different layers to the work that I teach. And, the simplest layer is to just be yourself. And to do that, you just know yourself. Just do what you feel is right for you. And when you do that and you are in connection with your intuition, which is your inner voice, and that we call that is the voice of the heart. And that is what we call the soul energy, the inner being speaking to you and through you to speak to people in the external environment, whoever they are. We then say that you speak the voice of truth. And it is a truth that is true to yourself. And when you're in that space and your understanding of compassion and love, and you speak with wisdom, then the stress in your life will melt away. We always have stress because we're part of the human experience, and a lot of it's about what other people do. But what other people do doesn't define us. We have certain tools, practices that then can bring the energy back into yourself, and then you can then reflect it out in terms of how you feel and what do you want to achieve, irrespective of where the external environment is. And that's power, but it's a power that is used in terms of love and understanding, cooperation, community. It's not a power that is used to manipulate or to abuse or to whatever. And it's about sharing and learning together and laughing at each other and ourselves, and supporting each one to do our best. And when you're in that space, and we call it a space, when you're in that space, you're in your own space, and stress is a factor that is not a defining force. It's a secondary force. It's also as, and it's not instead of, it's as well as. But to do that, you have to be willing to disengage from what's going on in the external world, and sometimes turn your back, and just say, okay, well, that's where you are, it's not where I am. And then the whole of the external environment changes.